Hi guys! So, welcome to another view of my apartment. I'm sitting on my couch, which is a more accurate reflection of where I actually spend most of my time. Today's video, as you might be able to guess, is about hygge. I kept seeing books about hygge at work and thought it was just another one of those fads, which maybe it is. But I kind of just wrote it off initially and wasn't interested. And then I saw Helena Jeppesen's video about hygge and realized how much hygge is already my life. So I decided to read one of those books about hygge and learn more about what it really is. So I've gathered a lot of the basics of hygge around me, and this is just stuff that I already have. Candles, not all of which are lit because I don't want a fire, because I also have my plants, which are doing okay and haven't died yet. And I also have some delicious chocolate chip banana bars, which I'm not sure count as brownies or not, but they are delicious. I have my mug full of warm tea, I have pillows, I have a blanket nearby in case I get cold, but I don't think I will because it's going to be 80 degrees Fahrenheit today. I have my fairy lights behind me, and I have my very cute purple wintry sweater that is kind of a Nordic pattern. I'm also using the natural daylight of my window to light up my apartment. Behind me you may be able to see my crocheted granny square blanket that I made last year, and of course my couch, which is very comfortable and I hang out on all day long when I'm home. And I also have a book right next to me which I plan to read more of later today, and that is one of the Outlander books. These are the elements of hygge that I most relate to and just find myself naturally having in my life. As I was reading the first book I read about hygge, there were some other elements included that I didn't necessarily relate to, and that included stuff like hunting, being outdoorsy, drinking alcohol, being social, and owning certain Danish products like furniture and expensive lighting. In some of the reviews that I read about the first book, people described it as being materialistic and condescending and only for people who could afford to be hygge. So after that, I decided to read more books about hygge and get a more well-rounded view of what it really is and what it can be. In total, I read 3 books about hygge, so now I feel like I pretty well know what it means, even though it's still hard to describe, and there's no real translation for what it is in English. But really, hygge is about the simple things around you that you already have that bring you joy and comfort. And it's about feeling safe and satisfied and warm and loved after a productive day or a stressful day or a stormy day. It's essentially the things around you that you already have that you love that bring you comfort. And it's different for everybody. It can work for introverts, which I am, or for extroverts. It's just about whatever it is that gives you that feeling. And a lot of the materialism, I would guess, comes from more of a feeling of nostalgia and the things that Nordic people grew up around and are familiar with. So it would be totally different in a different country. Hygge is really deeply rooted in Nordic and Danish tradition and weather and lifestyle, but it can be adapted to wherever you are. I recently learned that my mom is 16% Scandinavian, which we kind of already knew, but now we have an official number. So I like to think that some of those traditions passed down through my family, because when I was reading about hygge, a lot of it reminded me not only of myself, but of my family and my parents and their hobbies and daily habits. So a lot of the things that hygge includes are already a part of my life, but there are some other ones that I am trying to incorporate more because they just sound really nice, and that includes cooking more often and trying out new recipes. I made these chocolate chip banana bars myself and they are very delicious. It was the first time I made this recipe and I actually altered it a little bit because originally it was supposed to be a slow cooker recipe, but I don't have a big enough slow cooker and made them in my oven instead. I also want to go out and take more walks. Even though I can't really go on long hikes or anything because I have a hip issue, I do like taking walks and just enjoying the sunshine and being outside. And I am trying to be better at taking care of my plants. This is the second aloe vera I've had because the last one died. And I also killed a violet plant and a bamboo plant, which are all supposed to be very easy plants to take care of. And you can't see, but I also have string lights and different lamps around my apartment that I really like and are very cute. I also want to learn how to poach an egg because I think that was one of the things that was included in skills you must have if you want to have a truly hygge lifestyle. So if you are unfamiliar with what hygge was, maybe this has piqued your interest and answered some questions about what it really is. And if you already knew about hygge, I hope this enlightened a little bit of myself and the things that I like and how hygge is already an integral part of my life even before I knew it existed. Now, I don't normally have all my candles and all my plants and string lights on my couch, but this is a little more condensed for the sake of the video. But they are all things that genuinely give me joy, and I think that is a lovely thing to have in times such as this. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it turns out okay because it's my first time filming in this setup and my camera has been overheating the whole time, so it's probably been shifting around a little. But oh well, it's what I've got. If there's any other aspect about hygge that you want to talk about, feel free to reach out in the comments. And if you're feeling sick of hygge already, because sometimes I do by the end of talking about hygge and saying hygge 100 times in 10 minutes, then that's okay too. And thank you for watching anyways. I hope you have a very hygge-ly weekend or evening or whenever you're watching this. And I will see you next time. Bye!